Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Backstage Pass. I am your host, Vince Edwards. You may know me from Sound Image Productions, and we've got a couple closed roadie groups, one called The Backstage Pass, another one called Death by Loadout. Come and check us out. We're having some fun over there. This evening with me in studio, not out on the road, not doing shows. Really fucking hard to get a leash on you, man. It's the one and only Kyle Thomas. How you doing, brother?
Great, buddy. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's been really nice. We kind of been hanging out a little bit more this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been nice. Yeah.
We're cramped inside with the ZAW training.
Man, you know.
You brought Jonas to the shop. I'll stick around for that, gentleman.
He's a dear friend. He's extraordinarily talented. That system is dense. It's thick. It's a lot to know, a lot to learn, and it really helps with somebody who can speak the language and be patient and teach well, and that's not everybody has that skill. So, and it was nice. We brought Bernie Broderick in today, and the kids got to get in Bernie's head, which is a wonderful chasmist, crazy genius place that nutty things happen. So it seems like it was going good.
When he's added a little bit to the Anya rig for us for some of the stuff we have down the pipeline for shows. Just in like switching, you know, a nice little switcher box that goes up on top of the unit, not to get too into it.
What does he call them? TCMs, I think. It's something, I forget. He told me what that stands for. It counts, you know he's fascinated with motors and motorcycles and fast things. And so it's something.
Transmission control, some module probably.
But, he's the resident genius, so we just let him do genius shit.
Yeah, so it's nice. It's like a setup that you don't really have to fuck with. So any engineer that needs to come up and play with it can kind of have an easier time setting it up.
I won't say who the production company is, but another company, because not a lot of people have this system. I mean, I think there's like 14 of them in the world. And we saw somebody else come up with slightly out front of Bernie's, for something similar to Bernie's, idea to have that module system for the switching, right?
Yeah.
And so me and Bernie were checking it out. It was the size of a Samsonite suitcase.
Really? Yeah. Fucking massive.
Yeah. And so it was like, Bernie, it's like the speakers he built for us. He's like, I can fucking do that better. And so he got it down into, something like this that can mount right to the bumper, which makes perfect sense. I mean,
it's nice. You can expand it too. So depending on, I think the unit itself can do up to 6 boxes. Not getting too into it.
Yeah.
But so you can add additionally. There's these bars that sit on top of the bumpers.
Yeah, you
slide another rail on and add additional boxes above the PA, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, he's always thinking in kind of a module type way, building on, adding to.
Yeah.
So that's the cleverness of fucking Bernie Broderick.
And even dressing the thing, like there's a way, there's a lot of cables going on there. So one box is seeing 1, 2, 3 cables minimum.
Yeah.
So to keep it dressed, he's come up with a different way of kind of laying it out and putting that switch up there. Not only kind of eliminates a whole box on the ground, but eliminates some of that wiring hassle as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're dealing with the primary system and the secondary system, so obviously there's kind of double the interaction that you'd have with a normal box in the sense of something like that. But it's critically necessary. So
yeah,
and he's always about trying to find the way to make it more, functional, feasible, efficient, economic, and I think with that application he really did great.
Absolutely, and hearing him and Jonas talk was really nice. So
well, they're dear friends from back in the old days, back when Bernie was in-house at EAW, and of course Jonas is still an employee of EAW, so they have a lot to share and a lot in common.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're still bringing out the XTA console switcher as well. I think that was really helpful talking with him. We realized we had a problem with ours, kind of integrating with some of the digital sides of it. So we're going to turn to our user group that kind of helps us with all this shit in the U.S.
What did you guys end up doing? Go with the Luminexes or the Focusrites? How did you?
We tried them both.
That out?
Yeah, it's long and convoluted. It's okay.
But it got sorted for the day because I heard sound.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, so I was very pleased. Well, kind of the first sounds I heard, it sounded like something bad was happening.
Yeah. We got to get these things notched out. We have Oxbow Festival coming up, and that's when this Anya rig gets deployed, so we got to make sure that we're all on our P's and Q's, right?
I'm glad to see you guys putting in the good works, and you're doing it with some fucking badasses. So, between the group, you guys will have this thing by the short hairs in no time flat.
Oh, yeah.
Right on.
Other than that, I mean, we've been just hit with this wall of all of these shows in Napa, and we just want to give a shout out to one of our previous guests, Mary Condi.
She's so good.
She's kind of founded a lot of this stuff with your brother, George Edwards.
That's right.
And it's nice to kind of see him continue after COVID.
She's Another Planet, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mary Connie she was on the show, I don't know, a couple months ago, and she's a dear woman. She's been foundational in our career forever. So between our guests tonight, yourself, myself, we've done thousands of shows. Mary Connie's done more.
Yeah, right.
She's done more. I bet she's got a solid 10,000 under her belt. She knows this game backwards, forwards, upside down, left, right. She got it covered. And yeah, she's somebody you definitely want in your corner. She's kind of a badass.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's really nice to see something that her and your brother formulated as a festival still kind of come around after COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that we're not hitting issues like Penske's response to us renting trucks, right?
Yeah.
Is like, this is a COVID response of this whole thing is all these Penske places sold off all their old trucks in hopes that they'd buy new ones, but now they can't buy the new trucks. So where are we left with that? It's like a truck shortage for us.
Well, there's that, and so July is tricky too because of the fireworks stuff. So if during the fireworks month, they have those little booths. So a lot of those fireworks company people rent Penske trucks, and usually at night they store their shit in the truck. So July's always a tough month for renting trucks, always, period. And then you add in the what you just described. It's made it exponentially harder to secure trucks. Now this is a company we rent probably over 150 trucks a year with.
Oh, easy.
And so they love us. We have a 20-year relationship with them, easy 20 years between different places we worked. And so they will bend over backwards to try to get us what we need, but.
Still a shortage.
Yeah,
fucking
what
crazy.
can you do when you don't got them? You ain't got them.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, shit, we've just still been slaying the stuff. Me and Mikey went out and did Tony for 4th of July weekend. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, those guys, great band. I'm not much of an R&B guy. I mentioned this last week, but when they were sitting right here in this, what is it? It's a 10, 12-piece band. I mean, they're massive. They're extraordinarily talented. And when they were doing their thing in here, and we were taping that content for them, I was impressed. I was really impressed.
Right?
They got
some old Tony stuff.
No,
it's
man,
not just three singers
deep
and a DJ.
fucking rhythm and blues, or what would you call it?
R&B, yeah.
It's R&B, yeah. But they're really good. Dwayne, the guys are all really good guys, and hell of a talented band, and they're a lot of fun. So I'm sure that was fun. And that show you did, what was it, this last weekend?
Yeah, July 3rd.
Yeah.
Day after my birthday, brother got me up doing a show, and I think we knocked it out of the park.
Did you go out and get dinner on me like I tried to fund you for?
I did, yeah.
Good boy. Yeah,
Appreciate
nice birthday. I forgot it was your birthday.
Yeah.
It's funny. So your birthday was last Friday. Mm-hmm. My brother's is this Friday.
Yep.
Snoopy, by the way, I didn't tell you. Snoopy's coming in. The captain's coming in. Cap's coming in tomorrow. One of our oldest friends.
Oh, good. We'll have to take him out for dinner.
William Farquay Audio is coming in tomorrow, so we'll hopefully all of us get together and drag my brother somewhere and paddle his ass or something.
Love it.
I think last year what we did was we took him to the steakhouse, and it's one of those country places, with the sawdust on the floor and really authentic killer ass food. And they have a ritual, which we knew, where they'll drag you out and bring out this fucking like a horsey, and you got to sit on it. And they say to you, he hated that. It was so fun. So
definitely doing that. We're definitely doing that. We'll have a video posted up right after that. Don't worry about it.
Good times. Yeah. So and last week we wanted to thank our guest. Last week the one and only Ken Barr came on. He was a treat.
Awesome guy.
Ken Barr is 40 years in the business, easy 40. He's a triple threat. He's a writer. He's a movie maker. He's an old school roadie for Kiss and Stone Temple Pilots and Alice Cooper and all these guys, and interesting cat. So it was nice to have him on the show.
Yeah. And I just want to, again, congratulate our lighting guy, Alan Pettibone, on his Primus tour that he just nailed.
Yeah, our LD's, he's growing up.
I know. We're going to miss you, Al.
He's going out with the big boys. Now, he was already out with Incubus last year, and this year he's the kind of in my mind, he's a kind of perfect fit for that. Since there is no more Grateful Dead and Bob Weir's got an LD, it makes sense for him to be with Primus and do that, what is the Farewell to Kings tribute, Rush tribute.
Rush tribute, yeah.
Yeah, it's I totally get that. I'm not sure why they chose that album, but I get it. When Neil Peart died, it put a kink in all of our steps, and And so,
You know what they say, dude? You can't surround a moth with that many audio guys for a whole year
yeah.
without him having to fucking leave the nest.
Yeah. He's taking flight, that's for damn sure. Poor son bitch. Well, I will give it to his credit. He endured pretty well,
He did. We love Al.
He's a hard fucker. We appreciate Al very much. He does a great job for us here, and we'll miss him in a couple months. He'll be out, but he'll be back, and we'll push him out into the world again on some other thing. It'll be a good time. Listen, man, I got an extraordinary guest on tonight.
I know you picked a nugget.
I picked him for the people. I picked him because I got love for this man. In my job, I'm lucky. I have a lot of good friends, but we it's not like we fucking on the phone every day. We don't have that kind of relationship. But you come back with each other, and it's like you never went away. And I'm lucky enough to. There goes the moth right now. There he goes.
Mothman.
But I'm lucky enough when I pick folks out, it's first I want them to be interesting, but I need to respect them and have love for them. It makes it so I can do this naturally and I don't have to think too much. I just do the thing and I talk to my friends. And tonight is an extreme example of that. The guy we got, I'm going to talk to the people now. It's good.
I got the comments. You guys want to chat? I'm on here.
Tell the people who's on this thing. I can't see a goddamn thing.
Oh my goodness. Sue says hello. Charlie's a Ricky.
Charlie, what up, baby?
Pat O'Doul, he's going to stop by soon.
Yeah,
we got to catch up.
All right, you tell all the people that I love them, and I'm glad they're here, and I hope they have a good time with this one. We're going to have a good interview here. It's going to be fun. All right, let's do this. Rock and roll. All right, listen, people, I'm not kidding. I've got a real nugget for you tonight, an absolute treat. A man that's been in this game, since he could knee-high to a June bug. I mean, literally the late 70s, middle 70s, he got into this for real. He's done it all. He can hold down any position. He did guitar tech, drum tech, PM, front of house, TM. It doesn't matter. If it's a job in this business, he's worked through the steps. He's worked with some of the biggest bands in the world, some of the coolest stuff. He had strong love for Van Halen. He's been out with everybody from Kiss to Kenny Rogers. I mean, it's a really, really cool, full experience in the music business. And let's give a talk to him and see if he'll share some of his memories with us tonight. We got the one and only Chopper Kovach. How are you, sir? That's you.
Fantastic. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
I'm so glad to have you on, man. We always play tag back and forth on the social media, fuck around with each other.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I should have reached out to you earlier, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't because I wanted to get this sorted out. And now I'm not sure that I got it 100%, but I feel like this is now worthy of a person of your fucking caliber to come on the show, and then I won't shit the bed too bad, and we'll have a good experience, and I won't embarrass myself or embarrass you on it. So thank you for coming on tonight. It's really a treat.
It's my pleasure, and I still think you're taking too many meds, but that's a different story.
You said you wouldn't say nothing about that, Chopper. Listen,
Sorry,
man, I wanted to send out a little bit of, I worried on you for a minute there. We had a big loss in the music world relatively recently, and I know that affected you in a great way. And that was, of course, the loss of the one and only Eddie Van Halen. How did that affect you, brother?
Basically speechless for days. I had people from all over the world sending me sympathy messages, and normally we'd touch base every 2-3 months just via text or something, and the first of the year he stopped responding, and it's you don't really think a lot about it, and I don't know, it still affects me. I mean, I don't know that I'll actually ever get over it because he was such a unique guy,
one of a kind.
Absolutely.
Truly
Absolutely.
One of a kind. Yeah, and he was. I had known him in different points in his life, and I was lucky enough to have worked with him, and I watched him grow and evolve and be so many things to so many people. And I think one of the things he was probably proudest of, and I know you support this big time, is Wolfie.
Oh, absolutely.
His boy, I mean, he was a good papa. He loved his boy a great deal. Him and Valerie, and what a great kid. I mean, what he's doing now with Mammoth. I know that's got to put a little bit of beam of pride in you.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. I remember when Wolfie was actually couldn't walk, actually. Yeah. But, Mini Wolf.
Yeah, cub.
But the stuff that he's done and his perspective when people try to criticize him and compare him to his dad, and he says, I'm trying to be me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you really like it or not. You don't have to listen. That's Eddie to the T.
Yeah,
it's like, just doing his own thing, man, and enjoying it.
And if you like it and you want to come for the ride, come for the ride. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, the Wolfie is extraordinarily talented. You know, we know he can pretty much play anything and do anything, and you know he's a badass little guy. I guess he's going out with GNR, opening up for GNR, from my understanding.
He is. He's got a full tour coming up, as well as he's doing some solo gigs within that tour. So it's. I'm hoping they're going to be here in town. I hope I'm around to see them. I'd love to go visit for a while.
Yeah, no, that I can imagine would be nothing but a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It would.
So I'm going to wander around in your resume a little bit. I hope you don't mind me bouncing back and forth. I know you can keep up. You're a badass. The OJs. Now, you went out with the friggin' OJs, dude. I mean, it's the OJs. I mean, Jesus Christ. That's like some formative shit right there. What was that like?
Well, I was working for a local production company, and they played in town. And by the end of the show, they hired me.
Yeah.
They wanted me to go on the road with them. And their big hit at the time was Backstabber.
Yep.
Which
Great song.
Wasn't a lot of confidence for going out at my age, but it was, you know, it was an incredible band. It was an incredible visual, even when there really weren't visuals in performances.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot.
They did the dancing, right? They got the moves, the syncopated moves, and so on.
Absolutely. Weren't the Temptations, but they still got the Soul Train going.
Yeah, right. Exactamundo. You know, I know you spent a lot of time. So we've had a lot of folks on here. I just mentioned this. Our guest last week had spent a lot of time with Kiss, Ken Barr, back in the early days of Kiss. Or I'd say the middle days, actually, when they had, what was it, Eric? I forget the drummer, the blonde-haired drummer was in. It was that era, kind of not directly early. And I know you go way back with these guys. You know, I'm familiar with Gene and his works, and I've had occasion to interact with him and the boys. And you know, they're kind of a legendary act. Their business acumen is insane. What they can do with a dollar is extraordinary. They just, you know, I guess it was just New Year's Eve got the most pyro in their record in Dubai, I believe it was. Talk to us about your time with Kiss, brother.
Well, it was a unique time. It was everything was new. You know what I'm saying? It's like the basically Kiss created that type of touring. Yeah. So it was a lot of work. It was a lot of frustration, a lot of aggravation. But as soon as the show started, everybody was just staring. It was just incredible. And that kind of, even to this day, makes it worth everything that me and everybody I work with, everything we put in during the day, that show is what it's all about. And if it goes off, can't get a better feeling, man. Can't get a better feeling.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, I think they conversely kind of play both sides of the, you know, it's probably one of the most theatrical bands there is. You know, I know that they come from the Gene, in particular, when he was known as Haim, you know, was very big on the musicals and musical theater. His mother was a huge influence on him, and he really embraced that richness of that and brought it into rock and roll in a unique way. I mean, there's nothing like Kiss. The Kiss experience. Even when I was young, I was before the punk rock days. I was in the Little Kiss Army and the whole nine. You know, it's just an extraordinary band.
Yeah, they're great guys, and even to this day, if they're around, I'll just call Doc up and go visit everybody and say hi. And Gene still calls me that little Hungarian guy.
That's funny. So it's funny because Doc reached out to me, I want to say a month ago. I don't know, give or take. And he Facebook friended me, and I thought, well, fuck, I thought Doc didn't like me. you know how Doc can be. And so I thought, okay, well, fuck yeah, of course I'll be friends with Doc. And so I reached out to him, and so Doc's got a standing invitation to come on and talk shop because, you know, in this show we're trying to highlight all the different disciplines of the game, the lighting guys, the staging guys, the riggers, the A1s, I don't care. Let's talk about it. Let's get everybody in here. And Doc would be an incredible get because, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
he would.
You know, talk about a singular dude. I can't really think of many other folks that roll like Doc does, and he's a special cat. So I'm hoping he'll take me up on it. But yeah, right on. I can totally relate to that. I was looking through your resume, and it was funny. one of your credits triggered me to pull my phone up, and Bernie Broderick had just made us these new speakers, these Blu-ray speakers, really high-end shit, really powerful and they sound great. And so I'm looking at your resume and I go, Kenny Rogers in the 5th edition, and Ruby started playing in my head. I swear to Christ, Trevor.
Absolutely.
I stopped what I was doing and I just put it on. And so, it just can't, man, that's some cool shit. I'm a lover of music, but I'm not one of those cats that says, I listen to everything. I don't fucking listen to everything. I'm not a big rap guy. There's some things I struggle with, but man, Kenny Rogers in the 5th edition, that was a cool band. That was a lot of fun. Were you actually out there with Kenny or the 5th edition?
Kenny Rogers in the 1st edition. We did kind of a state fair tour in the whole Southeast, and they picked me up to go around with them.
Oh, man.
And I have to tell you, the girl singer still is the highlight of that trip for me.
Yeah, right on. I'm with you. I always thought in that band, he kind of like, Kenny's got a very distinct kind of buttery style, and I always kind of compare him a little bit with maybe Lionel or somebody like that. And I always thought when I would see him, because you're right, he was big on the fair circuit for a minute there. He'd come through, and I always thought he kind of had it like a whisper, that the way his delivery is so distinct and unique. But what a fun band, and the way he played bass and his whole deal with that was just a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and it's again that's still the era before there was all the video walls and all the spectacular lighting, so it was left to the band to actually project the show as they wanted it seen, which is still to me the most important thing.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I always marveled at the costumes. How they were big. They were kind of in their little stage get-ups were certainly. It was the perception of rock and roll at that time, but I never could understand where to classify them. I always thought they were somewhere in between, kind of like an Eagles vibe, not exactly, but kind of. A little bit between rock and roll and a little bit between country, and they seem to straddle that line and capture both, the audiences.
Yeah, and that was the big appeal too, because it wasn't forcing you to like one or the other. No. You could actually enjoy us. Like I grew up, both my parents were on Broadway and in movies.
Yeah.
So I grew up listening to all the show tunes. My cousins wrote some of the show tunes on Broadway.
Wow.
So that's the kind of stuff I grew up listening. So that's how my ears developed, and I started appreciating all this other music that I wasn't necessarily inclined to look at the first time.
Yeah, no, I had a very similar upbringing. Jesus Christ Superstar, chorus line, Fiddler on the Roof, the whole bit, and I feel Camelot, the whole nine, and it informs you as an adult. It gives you a little more of a foundation musically and a sensibility. So yeah, good for you. What kind of stuff did your parents do?
Both of my parents were dancers. My dad actually used to take dance lessons from Gene Kelly when he was teaching in New York City.
Wow.
He'd ride the train in from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. So they were on Broadway. Then Dad started doing dancing in movies with Fred Astaire and a background dancer, of course. But
sure.
Kiss Me Kate, Kismet, those King and I.
Wow.
And that's actually how my parents met.
That's extraordinary. That's one. I love that movie. You're talking about the Yul Brynner, King and I.
I'm talking about the Howard Keen, the older one, the one before Yul Brynner.
Wow. That is beginning stuff right there.
Absolutely.
Very cool, man. Seriously. Before a guest comes on, I'll tell them through their stuff, and I noticed not too long ago, I want to say a month or two back, you were missing your pops. So you put up a real nice post with a couple pictures of him. That was very sweet.
Absolutely. I mean, I miss my parents every day. That's after my mom passed, that's the reason I moved back here and got out of the business for a couple of years, was to take care of him. And then, unfortunately lost him a couple of years ago. But
no, I'm sorry, buddy, but that's a thing. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be very, very proud of you, brother.
I'm proud of him.
Of course. Sounds like he was an incredible man.
He was.
If you can hold a shoe to people like Gene or Fred Astaire. I mean, come on, your dad must have been a hell of a hoofer.
He was dancing in the Catskills when Johnny Carson made his first appearance as a comedian.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, he actually showed me pictures of that when I was growing up.
Amazing.
So that's pretty amazing. I'm real proud of him.
Yeah, the lives people lead. It's a very, very, very interesting. Right on. Talk to me about your time with the Atlanta Rhythm Section. You know, that's a hell of a band.
Oh yeah, it is. It's great guys too. Barry Bailey, Dean Daughtry, Steve Stone has been one of my best friends for 30 some years. He's the lead guitar player that took the place of the other guy after he passed, and so him and Barry pulled me into the band because I was actually doing Mother's Finest at the time as well, living in Atlanta. So just kind of worked out, and I still stay in touch with Barry to this day. I mean, I still text him on his birthdays, and we chat, and they're an incredible band. And I wish I had gotten a chance to see him when Paul Goddard came back before he passed, but I didn't get to do that, unfortunately.
Not many people can say they worked with Atlanta Rhythm Section. I mean, that is a seminal band. They're extraordinarily talented. A lot of fun, I imagine.
The music is so incredible.
Yeah.
It is so incredible, and that's the thing I enjoy is like getting to work with people that are so talented. Just makes me feel good.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
one step better than listening to it on the radio. Is actually being there for it.
Yeah, no, there's a thing that it's no other way to get it but being there. That goose flesh thing that happens when everybody's in the pocket and they're in the zone and you're a part of it and you're doing your part to make it happen for them. It's a very special moment. No two ways about it.
Oh, when I used to have hair, it would stand up.
Yeah.
Now I got a hat.
It's funny, guys like you and me. We're really, really mindful of hair at this point in life.
I'll take it wherever it is.
Yeah, right. I need to do some serious transplanting, I think, at this point, of many other places I wish it wasn't, and to where I need it to be. But that's just life in a nutshell right now. It's how it is. Listen, I noticed you were up the way from me. One of the I live on the Monterey Bay area with my gal, and up here in the Bay Area, and it has some extraordinary views, extraordinary properties that have Pebble Beach is there, Carmel, so on and so forth. And one of our neighbors a few miles away, I don't know, 5-6 miles away, is Mike Nesmith, and he's right next to Reggie Jackson and Paul Anka on this big mountain overlooking the Monterey Bay, and it's easily one of the most sought after properties in the area, easily, and it's striking, it's amazing. So I know you spent some time with the Monkees. How was that? Did you enjoy those guys?
That was great. That was actually when Papa Nez wasn't with them. It was just Peter, Davey, and Mickey.
Yeah,
and they were going out. That's after the show and all of the what's the best phrase? All of Mike's feelings for the band was still kind of not great because of the way Kirshner had dealt with them and treated them.
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody else was just a hoot and a half.
Yeah, David Jones was a special cat, and of course Mickey Dolenz is kind of a badass in his own right. I always thought he was pretty great.
Oh yeah. And they've got some new live stuff actually coming out. Him and Nez are doing a new album, I think, coming up this year.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, Mike was always known for being a little cantankerous, in his very distinct way that he saw things should be going, and he wasn't always wrong, and
that's correct.
Yeah, and so, but he certainly made his way. Like I said, he found his way to the big house on the hill. So I'm glad he's doing well, and it's music is the lifeblood. So I'm glad to hear that those cats are getting together and making music. I always envied them for their early stuff. The writing teams behind that work was I mean, really,
Voice and Heart.
It was insane. The Brill Building stuff that they came out with is just extraordinary. There was really no way they couldn't have been successful with those writing teams.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, friggin' one of a kind.
Well, Jack Nicholson was behind some of it too.
Yeah.
The movie Head, I think it was.
Yeah, he's got a really interesting history. I don't think a lot of people know about that. Yeah, he's certainly made the rounds and touched a lot of places. I know he had Robert Evans got the big studio head. He was behind Godfather and all these extraordinary movies for Paramount, and he lost this extraordinary, probably one of the nicest places in Beverly Hills. This 2-acre place, extraordinary place. He lost his place in this kind of setup thing, this thing that happened to him in the late '80s, and Jack Nicholson came in and bought his house back for him. He lost his house. Jack Nicholson bought his house back. Jack Nicholson is a heavy cat. He's a one-of-a-kind dude. We could go down
Absolutely.
this road of Hollywood, who's who, what's what, but I think it's the wrong show for it probably. But yeah. So, I know in your career you have traveled far and wide. You miss the traveling? I mean, I know you've been home for a minute. Has that put a kink in your giddy up?
I love being home. I love being by myself, but there's nothing like being on the road and every day accomplishing something that makes people happy.
Yeah.
Or you try to make people happy. It's like I love traveling. I love days off even more traveling, but that doesn't always happen. It's it's for a while back in the 70s, 80s, it's like I don't even know what town we're in. And fortunately now there's a couple of days off, but if nothing else, just for mental health reasons that you get to actually enjoy where you're at.
Yeah. What do you like to do?
I love traveling.
What do you like to do on your downtime? I was always a big fan of going and looking at architecture and taking in the views.
Interesting you say that. In Europe, particularly, I like to walk into the towns and check out the wine and cheese shops.
Sure.
Which is kind of weird, but I mean, also, take. Well, you got to eat,
so.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe some crackers, but I mean, especially through Europe, the architecture is incredible.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
every time I've been in Austria, it's just my jaw dropping every time, and it's still the same buildings.
Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Incredible.
Really is.
It is.
No, it's super special stuff. I always thought that was probably one of the best parts of the touring was, just getting to see the world and get paid for it. I mean, can't really ask for much more than that.
You can, but you won't get it.
Yeah, you won't. I always love your unique perspective on things. You're not wrong, of course. Before we started up, we were talking about your affiliation with Smash Mouth, probably a band you probably worked with. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think probably the most recent act you've been out with and are affiliated with. How's it working with Smash Mouth?
Oh, they're incredible musicians. It's nice to be with bands that have the talent still. They have the vocal talent. They have the musical talent. I mean, it's top caliber in the band, and everybody on the crew, and Scott Perlman too. It's like it sounds killer every night, and that's actually the only thing I haven't been able to do is hear them out front.
Well, you're kind of busy. You're right on your position. Yeah. No, Scotty. Scotty is a one-of-a-kind cat. I mean, I got mad love for Scott Perlman. He's got an ear like no other. He knows the technology. He's a special dude. What's it like working with Scotty?
Perfect. I mean, he's easily approachable, and he's done Anthrax and all these other bands too. So we've got that camaraderie that's just built in there by the experience you get on the road, and we can talk anything and just go on and on and on, and one of us will look at our watch and go, "Oh shit, that was an hour ago, wasn't it?"
Yeah, I have this experience with them. I would say bi-weekly. We'll get on the phone, and you're not wrong. You just kind of lose track of time. It'll be an hour and a half later, and you feel like you barely scratched the surface, and it's been exciting and interesting, and he's just good people. He's
great.
People.
It's absolutely great.
Yeah, I'm hoping that things are good in his world, and I know he's traveling around a little bit right now. You mentioned that you heard he's doing some golf, and I know that's good for the soul. So right on.
Yeah, and he's got his goats.
Yeah, I know.
He plays with his goats at home.
He's a prolific poster, and I want to say 1 out of 6 of things he puts up on social media is hanging with the goats. He loves his goats.
Yes.
He's a goat
Absolutely.
guy. And, and I know he loves Indiana and that big properties guy. If we could somehow talk AT&T into fixing his goddamn cell service, it would be much better for all of us.
Yeah, they actually told him they'll fix it, but he has to pay for it.
Is that what they told him? Oh, shit.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about, it couldn't have been more than a week, 10 days ago, we were talking about this, and then, clipping in and out, and he's like, those sons of bitches actually told me my tower's screwed up, and they're not doing nothing about it. I was like, man.
They want him to pay for it.
Yeah, rough break. That is so friggin' weird. I mean, Jesus Christ. Coming and going, that's called right there, buddy.
Well, hey, Morse code. I mean, that doesn't have any dropouts.
No, it was pretty foolproof for quite some time. So.
Maybe smoke signals,
Yeah, maybe carrier pigeons, just sending notes, something.
Yeah.
We got to come up with.
Yeah, technology isn't always the best solution.
No, you're not wrong, Daddy. You're so not wrong. No, I mentioned at the beginning of the show that you've really stopped at every position along the way. I don't think there's anything in a rock and roll game that you can't do. Do you have a preference? Do you prefer to be front of house doing mons, doing TM in it? Tour manager, production manager, guitar tech. Where does your love lie?
I'd have to say whatever it takes to make the show go as smooth as possible, and for the people to go home after the show going, I kicked ass. I don't, what I do, I love everything I do. So I don't really have a preference per se. It's just, as long as I feel like I'm contributing to the end result, what feeling is better?
I said to you, no politics on the show, and I found that to be a very political answer. No, but I know you mean it from your heart, and that's a very sweet answer, and I know that's how you are. You're a team player, and whatever you can do to contribute to make that show go and, give the audience a good fucking show. I know that's where your head's at.
That's what it's all about, man. That's why people come out and pay the money.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and I feel a deep.
It's gotta matter.
I know that's about you. You feel a deep responsibility to the audience and to the artist to bring your best every single time, and it shows in your work. No two ways about it.
Absolutely.
Well, that's why you keep getting the calls for the big stuff. I mean,
well,
let me run you through some of the artists that you work with here. That's particularly stand out to me. Jack Blades. Now, talk about a singular cat. I mean, Jack Blades, dude. What more can you say? What was it like working with Jack?
Oh, Jack's a doll. He knows what he wants.
Yeah.
But he also doesn't demand things that aren't realistic. He wants the best out of everybody, and he should have it. And he's been very easy to work with, him and Kelly Keagy both. And they're great people. They're great family men. They actually care about people. They really love the fans. I don't know if you remember Todd Confessori that passed away, that was their tour manager about 2 years ago. But the last time I saw them, Jack pulled me over, and they've got pictures of him in their road case in their dressing room still because they love him that much.
That is very sweet. Night Ranger is a hell of a band.
Family.
They did a lot of good shit together, and I think of Jack and Kelly as just kind of stalwart badasses in the game.
Absolutely, and what vocals!
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man. They're really, really talented cats. No two ways about that. When I was a younger man, there's a place called the Big Red Barn, and I can't say how old I was. I was 15, 16 or something, and Pat Travers came through. Boom, boom, out goes the lights, and I remember standing in front of that in awe. I was a little punker kid, and I had mostly punk rock sensibilities, but Pat Travers, man, put on kind of one of them born rock star cats. He just knew how to control the audience. He brought the fucking big songs. He brought the big show. What was your experience like with Pat?
Pretty much the same. He's really talented. I mean, he plays keyboards too, which I don't know if a lot of people are really aware of. But some buddies of mine, Liberty DeVito and Jeff Carlisi from 38 Special, put a band together called Big People that they got Pat involved with, and he was playing, of course, guitars and keyboards.
Wow.
Dexter Holmes was in the band, and that's just an all-around good guy. When I was living in Orlando, his house was probably about 30 minutes from mine, and his band house was 2 blocks from mine. So we always were together doing stuff. So that's kind of how that ended up happening.
Yeah, a lot of fun. He was a seriously talented guy. You mentioned Liberty DeVito, extraordinary drummer. I don't know, how many folks know who this man is, but he is known for having fast hands and being a straight-up badass behind the kid. What's your love for that? Oh, man.
Lib and I go back, 15, 20 years, and the guy's incredible. I can give you a bit of advice, though. When he's playing, don't ever look him in the eye and give him a kiss, because he will throw a stick at you.
You blowing kisses to Liberty, and he took that some kind of way, is what you're telling me?
No, I'm saying he just a stick went by my head and put a dent in a metal truck. So I kind of from that point on, I literally went behind him, right beside him and his drum monitor, So he didn't have enough room to throw a stick at me and make fun of me anymore.
Oh, that's perfect. So properly situated.
Absolutely. Closer than arm's reach, so he couldn't get to me.
When you were out with him, who was out? Was he out with Billy?
No. Doing a bunch of shows with. We actually, even to this date, still do this benefit for. It's called Arizona Open. .org. It's in Greenville, South Carolina, and we have Danny Seraphin and Liberty come in, Rob Arthur from Frampton, Damon Johnson, Jeff Carlisi, Wally Palmer, Jim Peterick from Survivor. And
Jesus Christ.
we all come in and rehearse for a couple of days, and then we do a big show to benefit children's charities down in Greenville.
That's got to be a lot of fun.
And then the next day there's a big celebrity golf tournament. So it's fun for everybody. It's a lot of satisfaction too. We raise some decent money for these people.
Yeah, we make sure here at Sound Image to do quite a few a year charity-based events to benefit many things from the SPCA to local firefighters. You know, here in California we get a lot of wildfires, and these guys go out there and try to save the day, and it's pretty important stuff. So I agree with you. That's a very satisfying part of our business that we get to do, and we'll donate the gear, we'll donate everything we can to make these things come off. We got a lot of Bay Area bands that come together, Metallica and Journey and so on. We'll get out there and put a lot of asses in seats and turn that money straight over, and that's always a good thing.
Absolutely. But I mean, Liv's a hell of a player. The one time I said to him, "I've never seen you break a drum head," he broke the front head of the kick drum and blew the mic out of it. Literally. I'm very serious. It was in Atlanta, and his daughter was there. She took a picture of it. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. It was incredible.
Yeah, that's something, man. That's moving some air to pull that shit off. He shot a 52 across the room or something. It's wow.
Yeah, I feel cool when I blow up an M88. That's fucking something else.
This guy over here, man, he's notorious. I sent him out with Mike Pax, and he comes back, okay, these four are dead now. What the hell, man?
What are you doing with them, Kyle?
Putting them in the right spot.
Not
sweet
kidding,
spot,
man.
huh?
I love him. He's a good boy. He does great work, but man, he is expensive when it comes to microphones. But that's just part of the gig, I guess. You gotta endure it. I know you got love while we're talking about charitable type approaches and things that we care about for animals. I know you're a big animal guy, particularly dogs in particular. What's the feeling with that? I know that you put up, is it Paw Boost?
Yes.
Paw Boost. It's kind of a pet finder service that helps
absolutely
wayward pets get back to their owners. Talk to us about your support of that.
It's unfortunately, no matter how hard you try, pets get loose from yards or gates or somebody opening the door. And we've got the service that literally for the whole county, we post it with, as soon as someone goes missing or an animal goes missing, we take a picture, we post it and share it with everybody we can. And then when they're found, we'll post a reunited thing and thank everybody. And it's great. I've actually been trying to start a rescue, an actual dog rescue, and talked to several people about even getting involved with it in the music business, including, Rudy Sarzo.
Absolutely.
So, it's something that's really dear to my heart. That's all I have is rescue. And if I had the room, well, I wouldn't have had 4 ex-wives if I had the room for rescues.
You made your choices, and it sounds like the puppies won.
They definitely do now.
I understand completely, brother. I understand completely. While we're on this subject real quick, let me do some fucking housework. Honey, I love you. You're the best woman I've ever had and ever known you. I love you with all my heart. I am so blessed, Chopper. I think we lived some parallel stuff in our lives. And I didn't always make good choices, but man, I finally landed on this extraordinary woman, and I just couldn't be happier. So I know that the secret, I think, is to not be looking, and the good girl will come and find you. You're a man of good heart and pure heart, and that will be your turn is coming. I know that, because if I pulled it off, I know you can for sure.
Well, I mean, you're so lucky to have someone like that too, because our business is not always the easiest, and it when it's demanding, it's very demanding, and there's not always time to explain.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I got real lucky, and one of the things my gal couldn't care less what I do. She loves me, and that's it, and it's sweet. So I like that angle of it. I hadn't always been that way in my world, and so I finally I'm where I should be, and I'm staying here as long as
I'm real happy for you, man. That's great.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. Thank you, thank you. You know, there's a cat in the game that I know you did some work with that I always was fascinated by. He was a maverick and a guitarist. It's the one and only, the great Dick Dale. What was it like working with the one and only Dick Dale?
He was really an interesting character.
Yeah, he's a trip.
Yeah, he was. He kept everything simple. As you know, I mean, his tone was simple, but at the same time, he was so particular about the exact tone, and his ability to play and articulate notes never changed from day to day, from show to show. It was just
like a machine.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And he was a sweet guy too. He really was.
Yeah, his reputation precedes himself. You know, he's what do we call him? He's imperfect perfectionist.
I think a lot of us are.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. What's on the horizon for you guys? You got anything booked up? You working?
Yeah, actually, I'm going out to LA in a couple of days to do some pre-production rehearsals for another band that I'm actually taking to Rockfest. And then after that, jumping back in with Smash Mouth, and we've got stuff lined up the rest of the year with even some shows in Mexico, Guadalajara.
Oh man, that should be a lot of
fun.
fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
but I mean, I'm also looking forward to our benefit thing we do in October in Greenville too, and then in December I get the privilege of mixing and doing broadcast mixing for the 82nd Airborne Division band over the Armed Services Network.
No kidding. Wow, so that's quite an honor.
It is. It's kind of mind-boggling. We actually brought Cosmo Wilson in this last year to run lights.
Wow, no shit.
Yeah, and he's coming back
deep
this
into
year.
The bench on that one. That's a
Absolutely.
legend right there, buddy.
Well, I went to Brian Hartley first, and he wasn't able to do it. And I said, well, do you mind if I call Cosmo? He said, nope.
Of course not.
Made it happen.
No. We all want to further each other's stuff. Wow, that should be a lot of fun.
I'm look forward to it every year, man.
How did you get into that gig?
I basically sat on the doorstep of every production company and said, you know, I don't have any work right now. Can I help you?
Well, I mean, with your resume on how they did every one of them try to snap you up and put you right into the mix.
Well, you know, it's the thing is during the COVID time, it's not only was there, you know, lower capacities and less shows, but there wasn't always that money. And, you know, while money is great, I love the industry so much that, you know, I stay happy doing it. The money is kind of secondary. My dad always taught me that if you're in whatever you're doing, if you're doing it for the money, you're in the wrong job. You have to do it because you love it. Then the money comes afterwards.
Listen, I totally agree with you, but at the same time, because that's actually maybe you'll join this with me and see where you stand with this. There's been a little bit going around in our groups and so on about you know, some folks coming back out and because of unique budgetary restrictions and so on, talking about, you know, is it the right play to come back out for, say, a reduced rate? Because you love it, and they know that you love it. You know, the people that are signing the checks, they know that you love it, and they know that it's. When we worry about moving the needle, you know, is the needle going one way or the other in the wrong direction? You know, it's not like anything's getting cheaper. You know, and life,
right.
Milk and pork chops have not certainly gotten cheaper, and so I don't know where to land on that subject anytime. Is it what you said basically? If you love it, go do it, and then it will spring back, and you'll find your own natural balance.
Well, from my perspective and for me personally, I would do it for nothing just to be doing it. But at the same time, no, I said I would. I didn't say everyone else should.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
But at the same time, you know, I've got value, but with reduced budgets, it's all of what you negotiate on the front end.
Sure.
It's like, hey, I'll work this season for you if we can go back next season and work with them, because I'm big on loyalty too.
Sure.
I'd like to help everybody, and even if it puts myself last, I don't mind taking a little less, because it's still getting out there. It's working. It's seeing new gear. It's seeing new bands. It's seeing new people, working with you guys. I mean, there's nothing better.
Yeah. No, that's a very kind perspective, and I have to tend to agree with you. We're gonna all sink or swim together, and I like to think we're gonna swim. So we do what we have to do. You're not wrong. I know where your heart lies with this. That you feel this, you believe in this, you're passionate about what you do. It shows in your work. You're the one and only Chopper Kovach, man. And I know you're humble, man, but your name sings out far and wide. Your accomplishments are many, and the respect is there, brother.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Same for you, man.
Well, I'd very much like to see you sometime in the near future. I hope our paths cross. If you're in my neck of the woods and vice versa, I'm certainly going to come look you up. I hope you would do the same.
Absolutely. I'm going to make it happen one way or another.
You're the best. Chubby, you are, in fact, the best, brother. It was an absolute honor and a treat to get to talk to you this evening. Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with my peoples and, hanging out with the audience. We very much appreciate you, buddy.
Anytime. It's great to see you again, even if I can't touch you from here, but I can still look at you. Can't give you a hug from here, but,
well, the love is there. The love is there, for sure, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, pal. You take good care of yourself. We'll talk again soon.
You guys take care too. Thank you.
All right, partner. Listen, I can't tell you enough, but he's truly, like I put on the ad, and I never put writers on the top of my ads. You know that I don't. I just, Mikey makes the ads, but I said, this is one of the best of us. I meant that. I really meant that. He's a fucking top-notch guy. He's a.
Did you blew through the show, the whole hour, really quickly? I didn't even get to hear some Van Halen stories.
Well, I want him to tell what he's comfortable with, and and the recent losses I know affected him a great deal. He was very close with Eddie and the band, and it's funny because as a Van Halen story goes, Greg Price, who was an engineer for Van Halen and his office is about 30 feet over there, came up to me the other day with a childlike smile, and he's a 70-year-old man. Well, you can't see that in him. He's very young, 70-year-old, but he came up and he's wearing his shorts and the way he rolls, and his little eyes on, and he's like, guess who called me last night? And I'm like, Ozzy, because, he works for Ozzy. And he's like, nope, guess again. And I'm like, Vince Neil. I don't fucking know. And he's like, Alex Van Halen. I said, cool. What did Alex want to talk about? He said, he just wanted to check in and tell me that, he'd been thinking about me. And it was a very sweet thing. You could see that it touched him a great deal, that Alex had called him up and he said, this is what's going on. And we've been thinking about you. And,
little Jolly Rancher moment.
Yeah, it just made him very happy, and they, both him and Brad Maddox have a long history with the Van Halen, and so there's a little Van Halen story for you. You could ask Gregory.
There you go. I got it in for the day.
Yeah, you could go ask Gregory about that, and I'm sure he'll fill in the details about it. But yeah, I just remember that silly little smile he had and how happy he was that Alex reached out to him and touched base and kind of checked on how he was doing and how Martha was doing and all that. So they have a long history, and he's truly another one of the top dudes in the game. So it was very sweet. But we're very lucky to get to do this here. We're doing it in spite of being extremely busy, and we're in here, I think, in about. Is it only 78, man? It feels like it's 90 in here. I'm sweating.
It's a little hot today.
Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe it's just a lightning kick in my ass, but yeah, it's been an interesting day. We know that there's 1,000 places you guys can be. We really appreciate that you come and find us here and kick it with us. It's a very special thing. We're going to keep trying to do this as we get moved on into the season and we get back on our feet. And we hope that things are going good for you folks and that it's all good. Next week we've got the one and only Greg right out from Lard and Clear Productions. I came up with Greg. I actually in that back room when I was a little wee guitar tech back in the day for Greg Ken and Jimmy Lyons for the Eddie Money and all the stuff I was coming up with. I ended up with Greg Rideout's toolbox with his guitar tech box. It's over there. Yeah, it's over there. You know where all the toolboxes are.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take a look at it.
It says Rideout across the house. Impossible to meet. And if you open it up, you'll see it's got like guitar picks from every band. You know, it's just stacked full of tuners and key winders and strings, and it's the whole thing. And I used it for many years. So I'm looking forward to Greg coming on. He's built a new studio in his hometown, and he's really making a run with it. And if anybody can make it happen, it's Greg Rideout. He's a fucking badass. So I highly suggest you folks tune in next week. We should have a really good show for you. It'll be the one and only Greg Rideout. Until then, you guys be good to yourselves and each other. We'll see you next week. Good night.